Hi there, Matthew Campbell, coming to you from Paris City Hall at the Paris Climate Summit COP21, as it is otherwise known. I'm here with Ali Zaidi from the White House Office of Management and Budget, where he works on issues of sustainability, of climate, in what is certainly a very difficult environment. The US, though, has been on the front foot very much here from President Obama on down. Can you tell us a little bit more about the strength of that commitment and how it works in an environment where Congress doesn't seem to want a climate deal?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I think the president, for him, this is a personal issue. It's something that he feels very strongly about. It's about the sort of country and world he wants to leave his kids. So that's where the commitment comes from. The way that commitment's translated has been a series of executive actions that the president has taken that total up to 6 billion tons of GHG abatement through 2030. So we've got an ambitious plan ahead, and it does a lot of work. That's the footing that we sort of show up to Paris on, alongside more than 180 nations who have made commitments. So we're very excited about that. We're looking for an ambitious framework for GHG reduction over the long term, for transparency and accountability, and for being able to mobilize the sort of capital that's needed for adaptation and low carbon development from a broad base of private and public actors around the world.
Do you think the private sector in the United States is picking up the slack in some ways of what we haven't seen in terms of legislation? There are an awful lot of big companies here, many of them American, making quite serious commitments. Monsanto saying they're going to go carbon neutral, a company that many environmentalists don't particularly like, but nonetheless making these very bold pledges, lots of others as well.
Yeah. I think the private sector and the government actually have worked really well together. In addition to working closely with local and state governments, the investment that we made at the beginning of the administration, which was the largest clean energy investment in history, mobilized tens of billions of dollars of capital into clean energy. We had more than 100,000 clean energy projects funded. That was that was in partnership with the private sector. That was a lot of private capital moving in. And the investment we've made in R&D, I think, is what enables a lot of the ambition and stepping up by the private sector. You've seen solar be deployed 30-fold increase since the president took office, and that's because we've partnered with the private sector, with research, with scientists, with academics to drive down the price of solar through R&D. And that was actually a big announcement the president made when he was here earlier in the week with Bill Gates, with 19 other countries, that we're going to double our clean energy investment.
And when it comes to the relationship with cities, it's a very interesting discussion, particularly in the U.S. Something of a fraught relationship in the American psyche with cities over the years. There are not direct links between cities and the federal government in the U.S. in the way there are in some countries. Is that a harder conversation to have in the U.S. than in Denmark or France?
No, I think we've done a great job of working with mayors. In fact, the president made a call in August to mayors across the country to sign up for the Mayor's Compact, the Climate Compact. And we had 115 U.S. mayors sign up for it. We've been able to, I think, break through the silos of how government's been run. For example, the White House launched a couple of years ago the Climate Action Champions, 16 communities that represent geographic, economic diversity, taking climate action, moving us forward. So I think we've moved past some of the old ways of doing business and moved into a place where we can be cooperative and really, I think, over comply and go way beyond what's been the tradition sort of baseline case.
And how do you make sure that these frameworks, these measures, these reductions are not reversed under a future either presidential administration, future in Congress? How do you future-proof them?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that you can do to future-proof them, and cities are a great example of this, is by getting climate action and economic growth to point in the same direction. The compass today, I think, points in the same direction for both of those things, and it's because of investments in R&D. It's because of the regulatory steps that we've taken to put, standards on pollution for the first time from power plants, double the fuel efficiency of cars. When you do stuff like that, it sends a signal to the private sector that this is the way that the economy is going to grow in the future. And I think there's no real turning back from that, because that's creating jobs and it's improving lifestyles, quality of life around the country and around the world. And I think people get that. That's not something you easily reverse.
Well, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time, Ali. We'll be back very soon with more here on this Google Hangout from Paris City Hall at COP21. Thank you very much.